In this video, we will be working on hip internal rotation. So aiming for our femur to be able to rotate in towards our body, keeping the separation of our pelvis and our femur and increasing it a little bit more. So here we are actually aiming to both strength train through our hip joint, as well as increase in range of motion. A few things to remember is that just if your leg doesn't move when we're seeking some new range of motion, that's okay. It's better for there to not be as much range of motion or as much movement, but you're still intentionally aiming for it, as opposed to compensating and just using another part of your body to actually cause the movement to happen. So you want to be very attentive to isolate the femur in the hip joint. So for this, you want a chair. You want to make sure that it's a chair that you can hopefully kind of be a little bit flatter with your feet on the ground. If it's a higher chair, you at least need a little bit of something to lift your leg or your foot a little bit so that your knee stays in line with your hip. I would suggest also sitting a little bit towards the edge of your chair so you have a little bit of a better movement. You also will need a broomstick or some sort of stick. I have also, because I do this a lot, I went to Lowe's and purchased a metal pipe. So you can just get it fairly easily. And they actually sell these like foam covers as well, so that are made to fit in. So I have bought this because I can put a little bit more pressure on the pole, not worrying about actually breaking a broomstick or something like that. But if all that you have is a broomstick, it will be a good enough tool. I'm going to be using this, just assuming that you don't have a metal pipe around, and so you can use the broomstick. So we're going to start first just accessing the movement. So you're going to be sitting up nice and tall. You're going to find your knee in line with your hip, keeping your pelvis nice and grounded on your chair. You're going to rotate your femur towards the inside of your body, and that's going to cause your foot to lift. So you're just going to practice this a little bit. We'll be doing a little bit more of it later. I want you to just feel this movement. Now try to lift as far as you can, keeping your pelvis flat. So sometimes when we go out, we start to lift through our pelvis. Let's try to keep that flat. Some of us might be right here. Some of us may hardly be moving. That's okay. Just aim to go as far as you're able to go. So we're going to do some strength training through our joint and increasing range of motion. So this is called pails and rails. Pails is progressive angular loading, well, isometric loading, and regressive angular isometric loading. So we're going to be pushing in one direction to increase strength, and then pulling in a different direction to increase range of motion. So first we're going to start by finding the fullest range we have right now. So nice and tall, you're going to rotate as far as you can go, and then you're going to take the pole and you're going to rest it. Now, you might be able to hold it here. You might want to be sitting against a wall where you can rest the pole against the wall, just so you're not holding it the whole time. Really make sure that your pelvis is flat and you're nice and tall. You're just resting your foot on the pole, and again, aiming to have a nice angle and through your femur and your pelvis being nice and straight. So I'm going to start the 2-minute timer. You're just going to stay here. You're not going to do anything else. So take a deep breath and hold for 2 minutes. So you're just breathing here. You're aiming to relax everything in your hip. It might be talking a little bit, so think about just letting it rest. Breathing super deeply. You're trying to get your parasympathetic system going, so it's just that system that helps our body to relax and to be comfortable where we are. So try to breathe really deeply here. And try to also make the mental connection of the tissues. So again, you're thinking about, how's your pelvis? Is it nice and flat? Is your leg in line? Is your knee in line with your pelvis? And just keep your leg nice and still. Find yourself focusing in on your body. In about 30 seconds, we're going to start to do the strength training. So don't do anything yet. But when I say go, you're going to think of rotating your femur out, which is going to cause your foot to push into the bar. So from your hip, you're going to be rotating out, pushing into the bar. We're slowly going to increase the intensity. After that, with the same amount of resistance, we're going to try to lift up. So 60% effort, so to rotate out, push your heel into the bar, keep your knee attached, so feel the intensity here. 80% effort, go a little harder. 100%, you might want to hold on to your chair and push as hard as you can from your hip. Try to stay nice and tall. We like compensating here. And now keeping the knee where it is, as hard as you can, try to lift your foot off of the bar. Stay tall, keep the pelvis down on your chair. Now you might not move at all. You might not move much, but aim for it. Keep breathing, keep lifting, keep pulling. And if you got more range, adjust the pull to match it. And then relax. Stay where you are, but breathe really deeply. If you didn't get range, you just stay exactly where you were. Just relax everything in your hip. So assess, is your hip nice and flat? How's your foot and your femur? Are they in line? Just keeping that pull nice and attached to your shin. So keep breathing. Again, you worked really hard, so try to take those deep breaths in and deep breath out. Let's go again. So rotating out, push the foot into the bar, 60% effort. 80% effort. It's hard, 100%, go as hard as you can, squeeze your other leg, squeeze your arm holding the pole, squeeze the chair, everything goes as hard as it can. Come on, all from your hip, push for it. And try to lift the foot off by rotating the femur in. Keep lifting. So mine isn't moving right now, and that's okay, but I'm aiming to lift from the hip. So even though the movement isn't happening, I'm still pulling. 3, 2, if you moved, adjust, relax. If you didn't move, take a deep breath and just let everything rest. We got one more time on this side. So try to relax everything. This should feel like actual strength training where you're putting a lot of effort into the movement. And then you get to rest. Okay, last time. So rotating out, pushing the heel into the pole, stay nice and tall, 60% effort. 80% effort. 100%. So you're trying to push your heel into the bar like you're trying to break it. If you do end up breaking your room, you might want a metal, a metal bowl. Go, go, go as hard as you can. Keep squeezing everything. Now lift off as hard as you can. It's okay if you don't move. Keep lifting. So you're thinking of pulling from your hip, pulling your heel off, keeping your knee attached. It's okay if you don't move. 3, 2, if you added range of motion, adjust. If not, rest. So if you would have had more range, then you adjust the pull and then you stay there. Obviously I had to cheat a little there to show it. Right, make sure that you're letting everything relax here, taking a super deep breath in, super deep breath out. Let everything chill. Okay, super slowly. You're going to pull the pull from under your leg, and slowly move through your leg. So I'm going to rotate through here. It's a lot of work that we just did. Shaking it out a bit. And then we're going to the other side because we have 2 sides. So you're going to be nice and tall. Brace through the core. We first practice a little bit of movement here. So again, feel your pelvis nice and square. Knee stays attached to the pole as you're moving. So you're not going like this, but you're going just up and down with the foot. Okay, so nice and tall, rotate out as far as you can go. Find the pole, have it match your leg, hold on to it, and you're going to hold this for 2 minutes. So same exact thing as what we did before. Taking a super deep breath. Now, this is your second side. It might feel a little bit different. You might have less or more movement here, more range. That doesn't matter. You're going to just train as intensely as possible, just like you did with this other leg. The more that your body gets used to doing this training, the more you're actually able to access the tissues that we're aiming for. So if in your first time doing this, you don't feel it as much, you're just going to aim to practice this more, which you'll get chances to do. And you'll actually be able to make that mental connection to activate the tissues we're aiming to strengthen, but then also to increase in your range of motion. So just breathing deeply. Again, remember, if you need to, if your arms get tired, you could always be against a wall or like a door frame. That often is helpful if your arms get tired. As you're here relaxing, you might feel little flutterings in the tissues of your hip, kind of right in the side. Breathe into them, let them kind of relax. Imagine they're just releasing. And just a reminder, when we start to work on the strength, you're going to be rotating your femur out to push your foot into the bar. We're not there quite yet. Okay, so start to rotate out, push your foot into the bar, keep the knee attached, really feel the pressure in your hip, 80% effort, 100%, go as hard as you can. It's almost like you're trying to kick the bar through. You got it, come on, keep going harder, squeeze your whole body is squeezing as hard as it can. Come on, come on. Now try to rotate in and try to lift the heel off the pole. Keep your pelvis down. Keep your knee attached to the pole. Keep lifting, you got it. Oh, I'm feeling it with you. 3, 2, if you got more range, adjust the pole. Let the knee still be in line with your hip. If you didn't, stay where you are. Deep breath in and relax. If you're feeling a little crampiness, breathe into it. If you need to come out of it, come out of it, and then slowly come back in. But if you can, try to stay in the position and just breathe through that cramp. If it lessens, sweet. If it doesn't, then just breathe into it. Get out of the position slowly. And when as soon as you're ready, come back to the position. Okay, second time, rotate out through the femur, push the heel in, 60% effort, nice and tall, pelvis is square, 80% effort, go harder, 100%. This is your max. It should feel really hard. Squeeze your other leg, squeeze your back, your abs, both your arms, go as hard as you can from your hip. Come on, all the effort, and try to rotate in with the same amount of effort, try to lift the heel off. It's okay if it doesn't happen, keep that pelvis nice and square. It might be 1 millimeter that you're gaining, it might be a couple inches. Just aim to keep pulling. 3, 2, adjust if you got a little more, and relax. Ooh, I'm feeling a tiny cramp. Try to just breathe into it. If you find some shakiness, like my foot is a little shaky, that's not a bad thing. It's just that your body's working hard. Again, try to breathe. Try to relax everything. After you push so hard, you come back to homeostasis. So just try to breathe deeply. You got one more time. Okay, rotate out, push the foot into the pole, keep the knee attached, feel all the pressure. The third time, you might feel a little harder to access, but you got this. 80% effort, 100%, go as hard as you can. Use everything in your body. Come on, push for it. You can do it, you can do it. Keep going, harder, harder. Okay, same amount of force, rotate in, try to lift the foot off. It's okay if it doesn't happen, keep the pelvis nice and flat, come on. Keep pulling. You can do it even if it doesn't move. Maybe you're getting a lot of movement, that's great. Keep that pelvis nice and square. 3, 2, adjust, and breathe. So if you moved, then you adjust the pole, like if your foot came up. If it didn't, you stay where it is. You want to help your body access where you're at today. So if you're not moving a ton, that's okay. You're just aiming to access the tissues in your hip. The movement will come. The more you practice, the more you train. Just aim to be like very intentional from moving from your hips, especially. So breathe deeply. And you can just relax here. Super, super slowly. Release the pull. Release the leg. Woo. Shake it out a little bit. And now we're going to do some modified cars to access the tissue that our bodies just gave us. So we're going to be really tall. We're going to keep our knee in line with our hips. So we're going to start with the first leg. And from here, you're going to rotate and try to go as far as you got. So if your body gave you more range, our brains sometimes think, well, this is what we've always done, so I'm going to be here. But maybe your body gave you more today. So aim for that new range. Again, you're telling your body, thank you. And I am using the movement that you gave me. So let's keep this. So nice and tall, keeping the pelvis flat. Rotating in and out. Pull. Go as far as you can go, so where you can go no more, keeping the pelvis flat, and then back in. Awesome, keep going. Feels so good once you're done, right? Wait till you stand. And last one, relax, other side. So again, nice and tall, rotating in and out. Woo! That one's a little shaky because hasn't had as long of a rest. You got it. Remember, be intentional with your movement. Nice and precise. Awesome. And 2 more. Last one. Very good. Relax. Well done. You just did pails and rails. Good strength training for your internal rotation of your hip. The more you practice, the better it gets. Good job.